Hey, Chris,
Yes, Craig.
what's your story about?
Narratives and gaming.
Wow. I'm excited. Narratives and,
Yeah,
is it,
gaming narratives as we know it.
you're
may
such
change.
a story arc guy. Is that what's the word for it? The mine's about Titanfall. Welcome to the Craig and Chris Show, where we talk about stuff that interests Chris.
Mostly me.
Mostly Chris.
I'm selfish.
Yeah, interests me, or us, and hopefully interests
You.
you, the fine people of the interwebs.
Yeah, that's right.
It's been a good week.
It has.
I really enjoyed.
Week.
I really enjoyed last week's episode, and I enjoyed everybody's comments on it, which we will read.
We will get to
We will read
toward the end of the
because they were all about me.
That's right.
I'm gonna miss that show.
I am too.
So we got some good topics to talk about today.
Yes. Who's going first?
I don't no idea.
Let's start with Titanfall.
Let's start with Titanfall.
Start with Titanfall.
Okay, let's start.
I'm excited to talk about
Titanfall's kind of a good topic, though. Maybe we should make them wait, because yours is like loaded and interesting and deep.
That's why I think it should be the middle topic, Craig.
Oh, okay. So yours is better than
I'm
mine.
calling second.
Okay, we want the viewers to vote whether his topic should have been first or second.
No, we're not. Don't do that.
Vote.
Don't do that.
Do it. Do it for Chris's sake. Okay. Titanfall, as you guys may or may not know, is
Yes.
the first shooter, or FPS, first-person shooter, to actually be decent, in my opinion, and not just my opinion, in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the reason I found this fascinating is because all week long it's been a new patch came out for Titanfall, and it fixed a lot of the balancing issues, like for the fighting and the electric smoke and the Titans and just normal issues you'd expect. Because, believe it or not, us online gamers come up with great ways to
Cheat.
not cheat, to
Cheat.
manipulate the system that the developers and testers would have never thought of.
That's a polite word for cheating.
Yes, that's a polite word for cheating.
Well,
So
it's not just that. There were some things that maybe balance could be fixed or,
Well, I want to praise the company, which is Respawn Entertainment. I would like to praise them on their launch, because the launch was incredibly well done, except for the Microsoft side. The Microsoft side.
Well, actually, I think the EA side was worse. I didn't have any particular first-hand knowledge of that, but I heard that the Origin stuff had some issues.
But that's still not Respawn.
No,
As far as
Maybe.
Respawn servers,
Yeah.
as far as their, how they've handled the traffic, about the load balancing, I haven't had any lag issues.
Well, if
really-
you look at some of the other online games to come out recently, this was really smooth.
this was really smooth.
This wasn't GTA Online.
No, they did a really good job. And that's kind of what I wanted to say about it, was that Titanfall has been been talked about a lot lately because it sold a crap load of Xbox Ones.
Did it?
Yes, and we had talked about the next gen specs, in season one. We had talked about next gen when it was first kind of being talked about, and everybody was talking about hardware.
Yes.
Hardware. PlayStation 4 is the superior gaming hardware. Xbox One is going to be better. PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PlayStation 4. We got the whole battle going on, both factions.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect testimony, is that I pulled up this story.
In general, this was a good month, actually.
It's been a great
For
month.
next gen, because the first two actual legitimately next gen, this one, Titanfall, and Second Son just came out for Infamous.
Exactly.
And those are the first ones that weren't split.
Exactly. Now,
Well, even though there's a 360 one for Titanfall, but that doesn't really count in my mind.
so there's a couple articles I read. One was by, we didn't give them the important information.
We suck at this.
We suck at this. If you haven't subscribed yet, go to CraigandChris.com. I'm just going to throw it out there real quick. And if you want to read this article or all the other articles we talk about and more, go to CraigandChris.com/Flipboard.
And then that way you can have opinions.
This. Pretty sure they can have opinions without it.
No, you need Flipboard to have opinions.
Yes, you do. It's true. You don't qualify.
It's just my opinion, but I have Flipboard.
Here's why Titanfall won't help Xbox One sales. Now, this article was written on March 23rd, so it was already out. This guy wrote this article saying that Titanfall wouldn't help Xbox One sales. And it's
So
he
he didn't play the beta.
He didn't play it. I'm convinced he just didn't play it. It's greatly helped it. Actually, there was another article at the same time. I like reading balanced articles. Like I'll read this one, and then I read this other one that said that Titanfall alone sold 1 million Xboxes. 1 million.
Really?
Xbox Ones. Which if you look at the numbers here, which I'm going to actually... Here's a global hardware total chart.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you a picture of this so you can pop it up on the screen. Xbox One is behind all the other consoles.
Yeah.
Still. But 1 million is nothing to scoff at.
No.
Out of 4 million systems sold, that's 25% of their Xboxes sold just because of Titanfall.
Yeah, that pretty much ties in with the Wii.
And this is why I wanted to bring this up.
Just about.
This is why I want to bring... Well, yeah, but the Wii's been out for 1.5 years.
Yeah, I know. You still love you, Nintendo.
I still love my Wii, all right? I love my Wii U. But that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
And Nintendo really should have marketed that differently. Games sell systems.
Yes, they do.
Games sell systems. We don't care about who has DVR. We don't care about... All we care about are games.
Yeah, games are good.
And Titanfall is I think this is a perfect example. That's why I want to...
Well, it's certainly going to help them. And it goes without saying that we here on the Craig and Chris show are console agnostic.
Yeah.
I want all of them.
Yeah, personally, I'm going to get a PlayStation 4 eventually.
Yeah.
But see, right now, I don't have a need to get one.
Not that you can find them anyway.
Like, Infamous is a great game. I mean, I played the first one. I'm sure Second Son is just as good. But it's not, I'm going to go out and buy a PlayStation
It's
good.
damn pretty, though.
It is, ooh.
It is cool. Look,
Well, I know, but even Rise, though. Rise, if I wanted to buy a game because
That's
it's
true.
pretty,
that's true.
Rise is gorgeous. And
That's
they're
it.
going to see that on our gameplay.
This is good. If you own either system, these are good times right now because finally some good games have come out.
I know.
Titanfall definitely. There's something about that game. I don't know. Like I didn't like the Call of Duties ever, and as I confessed to Craig when I came over, I'm now that guy though, who I'll get on and play a couple rounds of Titanfall and spend the whole time screaming. And I'm enjoying it.
Pressed A. Ah! Or how did that guy get that good? Or he's got to be cheating. Or I hate this game.
Like I almost,
One more round.
A perfect example is instead of using like a DVR function to capture like, oh, I just kicked ass. I'm like, how come I shot that guy and he didn't die and he comes up and kicks me? Capture this.
You got to study.
So I can rage about
You're
it.
going to go back and study your footage.
No, so I can crack foul. Craig.
Oh, okay. So you're going to submit that to Respawn Entertainment.
I'll be shooting.
Here's
go
video
like this.
evidence of
I'll
how
be
broken
shooting,
your game is.
and he'll just come running up to me and kick. And then I'm dead. And I shot him like 6 times.
I don't understand that sometimes too about these games, but
I don't either.
honestly, I'm addicted to Assassin's Creed Black Flag right now, so I haven't gotten as much Titanfall gameplay in as I would like, because I just love being a pirate.
Dude, I'm loving Titanfall. It's getting.
It's not.
fun.
It's believe the hype. I think is what they wrote on the back of the.
Well,
box.
there were some people who there is like mixes to it. It's an awesome game, but the campaign, like I figured, sucks.
Yeah, it does. The campaign is awful. It's not even a campaign.
I think there were some people who thought it was going to be much better than it actually turned out to be. You roll through the campaign and stuff's happening, but you're too busy playing,
Too busy dying.
to focus.
In my case.
Dying, living, it doesn't matter which
Right.
either. And you know, there are times where like this will happen or a character will say this, and you're not even really sure what team you're on or why.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a
So-
great year for the console wars. I think next gen is shaping up to be something pretty awesome because, especially with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One getting this, Metal Gear used to be exclusive to PlayStation, Sony, and now it's on both consoles. And we both got a $30 demo. Dude, what is with that company?
I don't know. I heard someone
Seriously,
was able to beat it in
Konami?
like 10 minutes. Speed
10
run.
minutes. $30, 10-minute demo.
For Ground Zeroes.
Ground Zeroes. Yeah.
Well,
So that's my story. I mean, I don't want to dwell on it for too long, of course.
this is actually what's good.
But I think
about,
it's a cool topic because I think next gen is exciting because it isn't about the hardware.
What's
It's
good
about
about
the
next
games.
gen is what's really good is I know we like to complain that we're not guinea pigs and all that, and that's fine. But it is nice to see that they are supporting, like how well they're supporting it and listening to people. Respawn for Titanfall had input on the controller for Xbox One, so they had an update for it. You just plug your controller into your Xbox One, and it downloads an update, and I guess changes the firmware of the controller. Cool.
Yeah, that's sweet.
You know, developer having some input on that. Xbox One has addressed several issues in recent updates, adding it so that you can see what your battery power is, or so you can manage your save games or whatever. Stuff
The
that
only thing
maybe
I'm
should have
waiting,
been in there.
the big thing I'm waiting for on that is me being able to actually send you a message without having to type it in.
PlayStation, this is a good one for PlayStation. Apparently, that cool little light up front is kind of annoying when you play a game. Like, it's so bright that some people have issues with.
Oh yeah, I can see
Either
that,
reflecting
especially if you're
through your
playing in the
TV,
dark.
or it's just, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of distracting, and there's no way to turn it off or anything. And I guess in the next update for PlayStation 4, they're going to add the ability to dim that light.
Yes.
I don't know. I've heard some people say you can turn it off completely, and I've heard people say you won't be able to turn it off completely. But at the
either
very
way,
least, you'll be able to dim it.
That's one of the luxuries of having a patchable operating system.
It is, and they're both sides are listening and making tweaks and making it two really good.
It's a good
systems.
time for gaming, I think.
is.
But I think Titanfall is a game changer for the next gen, because I think without it, Microsoft would have. If this had been a PS4 and Xbox One release, you wouldn't have bought an Xbox.
No.
You probably would have still been, because it would have been cheaper. And I wanted to throw this last thing out here. There is a Titanfall bundle that even Amazon.com just got a approved for, and you can get the Titanfall bundle for $449.99
Yeah.
for Xbox One. So I'll put a link to that below.
Yeah. I mean, it's they're both definitely great systems.
So let's move
It's a
on.
good time.
Let's move on. I want to know what the viewers think of next gen and
Titanfall.
and what they think about games selling consoles. This whole flame war between Xbox and PS4 is just
Yeah. Whatever plows your field, people.
Whatever. Yeah. So.
Please, I hope for their sake that when they're like, the problem with being, maybe it's better to be a fanboy, because like I said, we're not fanboys, so
Nah.
we're just going to wind up spending more money. We're just going to wind up buying.
It's true. It's true.
And being broke.
because a game will come out for PS4 that I want. You know what? I actually still need to go rebuy my PS3 back so I can play the third Uncharted.
How bad are you?
What do you mean?
I buy if I like a game enough, there's a good chance I'll have it on multiple things.
Oh, it depends on the game. Like Max Payne, I had on like 3 different devices. I had it on my iPad, and I had it on my
Computer.
PC, and then I had it on it just depends on the game.
At least it's not me only.
No. I'm a fanboy of developers, not necessarily platforms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'll fanboy the crap out of old school BioWare.
Yeah.
I'll fangirl. Actually, do not. No, I'll talk to you about that off camera. I spoke over the internet
Secret.
to a person who was a original developer of Baldur's Gate 2.
No shit.
Yeah, and he actually replied to me. I tried to get him for an interview on my show. He said he wasn't in a position to want to do that. I was like, that would be so awesome.
I don't know who you are, but back off, kid.
I was like, wait a minute. He worked for BioWare.
Back off,
He worked
son.
for old school BioWare for 10 years.
I'd be interested to know who that person is.
I'll send you a something.
Okay.
I'll send you a something. On to your story.
On to my story. All right. So this past week, or 2, by the time this comes out, maybe. I don't know.
Sometime in the past.
When GDC happened, there was some big news that caught my eye.
Game Developer Convention.
Nice one. What caught my eye, story-wise, was narrative seemed to be a huge focus. Mm-hmm. And how
Story nerd.
developers, the stories of video games are kind of... Some people are reassessing what's the best way to do it. And some of them, to my dismay and fear, we're discussing whether it's needed at all.
Story.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So
I have some opinions on that.
Here's the crux of this whole thing. There were some people saying that that plot is highly overrated, was one quote. That the plot to a video game is highly overrated. Because
that's kind of true with Titanfall.
it is, but this was like all of it. Like,
I know. I
basically,
understand.
and a lot of their Like a lot of where they were coming from has to do with a fraction of the people actually beat a game to conclusion.
Really?
So it's like we're busting our ass to make this really intricate plot with a big super ending, only to have X amount of people actually get to the end.
Is this everybody pissed off about Mass Effect?
No. Although some of their stats are on here.
I'm sure they are.
No, this has to... Well, and then one guy argued, the guy who did BioShock, was like, you have to keep the story hidden, so that's like a detachment from the gamers.
Uh-huh.
And then once you have that big
Reveal.
surprise...
The reveal.
Is it kind of over? Like the Sixth Sense kind of thing.
Oh,
Once
okay.
you know that,
they don't want to go back and
would you go
play
back
again?
and watch it? And
I don't know if I believe it. Depends on the gamer. I mean, keep going. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
I agree with you.
So what are your statistics there? I see some numbers on there.
There were
What are
some
those
statistics. This
reflective
came from IGN where I found this one. And this was people
Also
who
on our
completed the
magazine.
game, Flipboard. So it said The Walking Dead Season 1, Episode 1. So Telltale broke up the game into 5 bits.
Uh-huh.
And there were episodes. So people who completed the very first episode and finished it were 66% of the people who got it and played it beat it.
Okay.
Skip ahead to Walking Dead.
66%?
Yeah, that's pretty good. But that's the
pretty
first
good.
episode.
Okay.
Now, the actual conclusion of the whole thing, episode 5, was down to 39%.
Oh.
And that's actually of people who bought the 5th one and played it. That's not even counting the people who just... the attrition that happened for people who just bought one and nothing else.
Right.
So here's another... you mentioned Mass Effect.
Okay.
Mass Effect 2 had a pretty good 56% of the people who played it beat it.
That's pretty good.
Mass Effect 3...
Most people don't have the patience.
42%. Now, I'd argue that it'd be 56-ish.
That was probably about... That would have been about... I didn't beat Mass Effect 3 because everybody
Negative
told me
buzz.
not to bother playing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to bother beating it.
But like Batman Arkham City was at 47%, Portal 47%, Borderlands 2 30%.
Well, I like that one, Skyrim.
Skyrim,
I'm actually
32%.
surprised that 32% of people actually beat Skyrim.
Those are champions of the world.
That game is so massive. I don't even know how you could. But what does this really say about narrative? I don't understand why it matters because you've got 32% of people. It's probably just a numbers game to them then.
Well, no, what they were saying was why put all the effort into this really intricate plot if no one or a fraction of the people actually get to experience the ending?
Oh man, I hope they don't take that attitude going forward. Who was it?
This was a couple of people. I don't.
Was it a couple of people?
It was. That seemed to be the big.
See, that's kind of that's a scary thought process to me because just because not everybody beats it,
I think
it doesn't mean that
the one guy who said the one guy who said that plot is highly overrated was from Riot Games. He's the narrative lead.
I don't know
Abernathy.
I don't know what Riot Games makes. Aren't they the ones who make freaking the Borderlands? Is that Riot Games? I can't remember. Well, here's the reason that this bothers me is because like they're bean counters. They're bean counting. The real question here is who of the 100% of people who buy it, who are the ones who talk about it the most?
Yeah.
Who are the ones who promote it the most? Who are the ones who get other people to buy it the most?
Riot Games did League of Legends.
Oh, did they?
So,
because here's my question, narrative. And I'd love the viewers to give their input on this, is because like yeah, sure, only 32% of the people beat the game, but of those 100% of people who bought it, who are the group of people who went out and told other people to buy it? Yeah. Probably the 32% who bought it and appreciated the story.
I agree. And
so, I mean, like, the word of mouth advertising is the best, I mean, in any business, is the greatest form, but just like it was with Mass Effect 3, it was the worst form of advertising for them, because word of mouth kept people from buying and completing the game.
Yeah, and one of those, I think what it is like you and I have a very similar taste in movies and games, and so when I come over and say, dude, Assassin's Creed Black Flag is going to reinvigorate your love of Assassin's Creed and blow your mind.
Yeah. Which it has. And I haven't even finished it yet.
Or Red Dead. I was like, this game's going to be the shit.
Yeah, and it was. It was amazing. But it's
Or
that,
you said Uncharted, you got to try this game.
But it's that small
awesome.
it's that small vocal group of passionate people that are talking about it. They might be only 1 to 5% of your purchasers.
Well, I hate to say it, but
but they're your biggest advocates. So what you're saying is, since this is just a numbers game and only 5% of people are actually beating it and appreciating it, we should just do away with the story. But those 5% are the actual core audience that are the reason you sold the other 95 that people didn't complete.
Yeah, and for me personally,
that's how I feel about it.
For
Maybe
me
I'm
personally,
wrong.
and I've said this before, I will slog through an okay game, even a relatively broken game, if I enjoy the story.
Yeah, me too.
That I play primarily for the story. So this kind of worried me.
Yeah, and I think it's a shallow perspective in my opinion.
Like Titanfall,
I
only put in at max like about 5 rounds, and then I switch over to something else.
The problem is they're drawing a conclusion based on, in my opinion, incomplete data. Because you can't just it's like anything else in the corporate world. You can't just bundle people together all into just one single group. You can't just say every gamer is equal. Well, in the industry of competition, you can't just say everybody who bought our game are equal. Everybody who bought our game is equally important.
Well, their point
because
was,
the most important people from your audience, in my opinion, are the ones who are going to walk out and get more people to buy your game.
Yeah.
They are more significant as a market.
Well, and kind of their point is that people on average don't recall the plot of a game, but they might recall the game mechanics, something that they did that was cool within the game, or characters.
Okay.
So they're like, should we shift focus to those things?
Game mechanics? Why not do both?
A lot of times,
stop being lazy.
Well, a lot of times where you do I don't see how you can do something cool or have a character be cool without having the narrative platform. Is Sten from Dragon Age cool if he's just standing there just being himself? It all kind of works with the story, and that's what kind of makes them cool, is when something happens in the story and how that character reacts to it with you.
Maybe
is what makes them cool.
I think a big part of the problem here is that game mechanics can only take you so far. Like there's so few games that can actually get to the point of actually revolutionizing game mechanics. So if they put all their eggs in a basket saying every game we release is going to revolutionize game mechanics, good luck.
Yeah.
Right? There's got to be more to it than that. Titanfall, for example, is a shallow game.
Yeah.
There is no character depth in Titanfall, and it's an astounding success. Why? Because of game mechanics. The gameplay is revolutionary.
Yeah.
But how many times in a decade does a game do that?
But it also serves a different purpose. There's a difference between I want the adrenaline of competitive play, and I want to, like I said again, I only play Titanfall for about 5 rounds.
Yeah, me too.
It depends. If I'm getting my ass kicked, like if I'm on a team or multiple teams, and this has happened where you just get wiped every freaking time, I'll quit out. I'll be like, screw this. It's not my day.
Yep.
And then if I'm having a good day at playing, I'll play maybe 5 or 6, maybe a little bit more. But eventually, if I have enough of a hot streak, that's when I go, I'm quitting on top. I'm out.
I think it's kind of a dare. I think it's an ignorant. I think you're absolutely right.
You can go, today's Assassin's Creed Day, and you just sit there for a few hours at night playing it.
Yeah, easily.
So,
I agree with you. I think honestly I think it's an inaccurate conclusion to draw from the data they have. I think that word of mouth advertising, people like us will sit up and praise a game. We'll praise Titanfall because it is a revolutionary game in its own right. But I will sit here and tell you that there is no story in Titanfall. It is hollow. It is a hollow shell of a story. So if you are a story-driven guy only, you're going to hate Titanfall. Well, it's for what it is, it's amazing.
Yes.
It is amazing. But if I'm going to give you a recommendation on like a great game to sit down and play solo, ignore Titanfall, go buy Assassin's Creed Black Flag, because the story is incredible. The game mechanics are also incredible, but they're not any different than any of the other game mechanics any other Assassin's Creed's had.
Well,
so, I mean...
What I found this funny is all this time I'm reading these statistics of these players beat this, and I'm going, I beat all of these almost. Like maybe that's just my personality.
Yeah,
Like,
but
when I
you
start a game, I
also
like to
walk
finish
around and
it.
you're an advocate of them.
So
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, we talk about how great Skyrim is, and it's not because of game mechanics.
I guess that's true. If there's a game that I didn't beat, I probably don't remember it and don't recommend it.
Yeah. So I think that they're missing the point, in my opinion. So what do you guys think? This episode's going to go long. That's what I think.
I like a big story in games.
You know-
and I will replay it if it's good enough.
You know what I think? I think
Comment
it's
time?
comment time.
I agree. At least you still have your enthusiasm for the comment, Joe.
I just had half a cup of coffee.
Oh, well, that'll do it.
Okay, I'll go ahead and start off with my comments since you just finished with your story.
Okay.
This one's from Adam Slobodian. Apparently, I owe the Canadians an apology. He didn't actually demand one, but I kind of felt bad after I read it.
What's good? I think he knew you were kidding.
He knew I was kidding. But anyways, in last week's
He's rolling
episode,
with
in
it.
case you guys missed it, we had discussed the fact that there was a price increase on the PlayStation 4.
For Canada.
For Canada, which I still do not qualify as a price increase.
It is for them.
No more free lunch, Canada. And the second story we discussed was related to the Steam controller, which, is that really a D-pad? So click on the video clip below if you want to check that out. I'm going to make Chris put it up there. He's like, crap, now I have to do it because I said it on camera. Or you can call Chris lazy if he didn't do it. Anyways, Adam
that all?
Sabodian said, you got to remember, Chris Keyworth and Craig Chamberlain, once you add on the tax, Canadian tax, it's about $1 million of our Monopoly money Canadian dollars. Actually, our money is pretty darn cool, made of polymer, and it can't be torn, and it's hard to counterfeit. But who wants to counterfeit our money anyway? Oh, and because it's polymer, you may not be able to tear it, but it melts in high temperatures. But again, it's Canada, so it's never hot here. Okay, rant over. I don't even know if that qualifies as a rant. It was hilarious, though.
Yes.
P.S. Red Wings have always been my favorite team as well, Chris. And yes, that is the proper way to spell favorite.
Do you want to go with that one?
You can go with that one.
Okay, that's not how you spell favorite.
I'm letting you take that one.
No.
That is incorrect, sir.
No,
It's our USA education says so. Just look at our test ratings in that last video we did about me taking the ignorance test. What was that to the science quiz?
science quiz.
Craig takes a science quiz.
Yes.
We are super intelligent here in America.
We do have to mention that he was extremely good sport because he knew we were joking.
Yes, thank you, Adam. That's awesome.
And he's a Red Wings fan, so that makes him one of our elite fans.
He's officially a VIP.
Oh, yes.
You've been VIP'd, Adam Slobodian.
If he wasn't already, he damn sure is now.
That's right.
Actually, when like I told him in my comment to him was, when I said that 4 people get this, when I said Red Wings, I said 4 people get that. He was actually one of the people I had in mind that would get it. So I was actually thinking of him directly. I'm like, he's like one of 4 people who's going to get it.
Well played, good sir. Well
So,
played. Good to know you're still
always
watching.
Good to hear from you.
Always. Your turn.
Okay,
Thanks,
I'm going
Adam.
to read. Let's read Sean Saint's. Sean Saint, another VIP. I think
VIP.
that's what we should just call him.
Vips.
These are our comment.
Yeah, Sean
VIPs.
Saint's a VIP. For show.
He says,
Wow, I
"Wait,
shouldn't have
what?
said that on camera.
I can only get my hashtag Craig and Chris fix once a week now. I have to put extra effort into my comments now. Hell no!
Hell no!
I say 2 episodes a week, and the third dedicated to only my comments." And speaking of unrealistic expectations, I hope Steam keeps working on that controller because I haven't been fond of either design.
Ooh, ouch. Yeah, I like the idea of it, but to address your first one, yes, you have to work extra hard. Extra hard. I want sweat pouring from your forehead while you're sitting there in front of your computer, like, how do I make it epic?
I don't think he has to work extra hard because he did this and we get it.
Yeah.
You're on it.
You're usually always on. So, as for dedicating an entire episode to your comments, we'll have to talk about that behind camera.
We'll discuss.
We'll discuss that behind camera. Seems a little unrealistic, but hey, at least you're aware of it being unrealistic.
Yes.
Which may actually make us want to do one.
Just to say we did.
Just to say we did it.
Yeah.
It's just, it's good stuff. I like Sean.
So
Good
now
stuff,
about
Sean.
the episode
Oh.
in the Steam controller.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree a little bit.
You don't like the either design?
I think it looks cool. I think it's like, hey, that's new. But there's a part of me that goes, wow, this looks really neat. And there's another part of me that goes, how is that actually going to work?
Well, this is what I don't understand about you people.
Whoa.
You people.
Sean, he just hit us with a you people.
That's right. They make an Xbox 360 controller for PC. You can use all of your traditional controllers. You can use... I don't get this. Like... The Steam controller is not a requirement by any means.
No. And
I'm glad that they're like, okay, this is going to be different. Actually, that's why I was excited about the LCD. So I was excited about all the different stuff they were going to do. Because I'm like, hey, cool, a whole new approach to it. Because if we want to use the old school approach, we can still use it because everything works with Steam because it's open platform.
I hear you.
That's how I feel.
I hear. It's less that I don't want to use it, and more I'm just not sure how it is going to work.
I know. I feel.
And it actually kind of curves, and I think it's just one of those things that you just need to get your hand on.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We
need to do that.
In my history,
we should order one.
In the history of my life, I've been notorious for knocking controllers and then coming around, actually knocking things, period, and then coming around.
Yeah, well,
a primary example is I remember very, very vividly as a younger Chris Keyworth, I
like this
knocked the shit out of the Nintendo 64 controller.
Ooh, yeah.
Before it came out, I was like, dude, that looks like a spaceship. How do you even hold it? I don't have 3 hands. Screw this.
Spaceship!
Exactly.
Lego.
And then
Lego the movie. Go see it.
And it was like one of my favorite controllers.
Or is it rocket ship? It is
spaceship.
awesome. No, I agree. Spaceship!
But I mean, I do remember
I agree with you. I think I knocked it too.
I was like, that looks stupid. Who's going to use that?
And then it's like, once it was going away, you're like, I don't want to go away.
Yeah.
I don't want a Wiimote.
And now I'd give anything to find one.
True story. All right, we got another comment here because we just felt like there wasn't enough comments read before.
Yeah.
This one's from Malcolm Sell. Wait, was that yours? That one was yours, wasn't it?
Yes,
that was yours. This one's from Albert Meza. That's right. I have to read Albert. Where'd it go? Where'd you go, Albert?
He's at the bottom.
Oh, don't tell Albert he's at the bottom. Poor Albert. Okay, Albert said, I'm not digging the new format. It seems a bit rushed. Go back to what works. Trust me, it's more entertaining that way. I think that's excellent advice, though. Going to what works, it wasn't working. Not for us, anyway. I mean, honestly, we loved doing 5 episodes a week, but it wasn't working for us. We just weren't enjoying it. Right. We didn't feel... It didn't feel right.
It was a bit much given our unfortunate real life schedule.
Yeah. And that was a big part of it, is we were starting to turn into EA.
Yeah.
And that's what I was telling him. I was like, dude, we are becoming what we hate. And we are just churning out these videos like we are a soulless production company.
Yeah.
And we couldn't focus on really enjoying the product. And that's how I felt about it.
Yeah, I would definitely say that as of right now, the 5 episodes a week probably won't happen.
Ever. Unless we, get rich and we can just do it for fun.
If I win the lottery, shit, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. We'd love to do this all the time.
But unfortunately, we have to pay taxes and
stuff.
Car stuff and gas and all that crap.
Yeah. But no, what I like about this, though, Albert, is that you were honest with us.
Mm-hmm.
And I really respect that.
Yeah.
But we got to be honest with you. I don't think we're going to go back.
certainly not to the 5.
Certainly not to the 5. Maybe a couple. Sean Saint mentioned 2. Maybe we'll do a third one dedicated just to his comments. I don't know.
We're still rolling with this.
We'll call it the Sean Saint Show. Wow, dude, I just came up with a title for your show, Sean. The Sean Saint Show. The Sean Saint Show.
That's kind of...
The Sean Saint Show.
It's kind of...
Tongue twister.
Tongue twister, yeah.
Anyways, Albert, we'll see how it all works out. Right now we're calling this Season 2.
Yeah.
Maybe Season 3 we'll go back. I don't know.
To the 2.
To the 2. Who knows?
Probably, the 5's probably not happening unless something miraculous
But
happens.
I think he said, we're hoping today doesn't feel as rushed.
Yeah.
Because we're not even looking at our timer now. We're just going with it.
We're just having a conversation with you guys.
And hopefully it'll feel less rushed.
Hopefully.
As we do it more. So we got a lot of exciting ideas now that we have time to actually...
I would say that's probably the big thing is every week we had to do the 5. I had to edit it plus real job stuff in real life, and there was no time to even contemplate what we would do different later.
Like how we could evolve it.
Yeah.
You know, using, like last week he used the cool images that were floating in, and there was just a lot of really cool stuff we couldn't do.
Just to cover things a little bit better, put a little bit more work into the 1 video versus 5 ones that are kind of...
Now I'm going to balance out Albert Meza with Stereo CJS before you read yours.
Go ahead.
He says, I like the new format, and it also had a +1.
Okay.
But
that really counts as 2.
I really would like this more than once a week, at least twice.
Okay.
So, and I think that's awesome that people want more. So we'll see what we can do. I don't know. We're going to stick with the 1 for now, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, we'll discuss. We confer, and we change like the wind.
We are not going to sell our souls for another episode. It's not going to happen.
It's pretty heavy, dude.
I know.
Okay, let me read Malcolm Sell. He says, this is actually in response to, he had mentioned that last week's videos, 2 weeks ago's videos were coming in hot, which means that the mic was picking it up too well, and it was blowing out the levels, and that was Craig's fault, because he went and messed with the dials that he knows nothing about.
Which dial? Was it
that one?
Was it this one right here?
This one.
This one? Like this? Like this?
Don't do
Is
that.
it blown out now?
Don't do that.
Say this is before.
Turn it back.
This is after.
Don't do that.
This is before. This is after. This is before. I just put it to where it was.
Should be all the way down.
We're good. It is. It's all the way down. You're nervous.
I am. You're messing with
Remember, this is how it is now. This is too much, and this is way too much. I'm turning it.
Anyways,
wait. Oh, sorry. I just turned it all the way down. Okay, you can talk now. They're probably all deaf now.
Malcolm said that it might have been a gain issue. I was impressed by that because that's exactly what it was.
This is the gain knob.
So I asked him, do you have any background in audio production? And turns out he does.
Thanks, Malcolm.
He works for Axis Inc. in Louisville.
That sounds cool.
He's a bench technician, but he also works
You're
with...
a bench tech?
Yes.
Dude, that's awesome.
But I also work shows as necessary with audio and lighting mostly.
That's cool, you're a bench tech. I work for an industrial electronics company with all kinds of bench techs. Now, do you mean an audio bench tech or an electronics bench tech? Because I'm curious, because we're really geeky there. We do a lot of cool electronic stuff. Mm-hmm. So, anyways.
So, cool, man. I was just floored that you actually knew what you were talking about.
Most of us don't.
It was just cool.
Well, thank you guys all for coming out to today's episode of The Craig and Chris Show, where we talk about stuff that interests us.
And hopefully interests you.
And make sure you tune in next week for our next episode. And until then, go out and check last week's episode.
And we should be rolling Rise by now.
Yeah, Rise.
So our gameplay for Rise. So
Son of Rome.
If you want to just watch us essentially make fun of stuff.
Yeah, or go back and check out Dead Rising 3 when we did that game.
Yeah, that one finished finally. So
yeah, it was a blast. Not a fire, though, on the Roller Hog, apparently.
We don't know what's coming, but it hopefully will be good, people.
As always, subscribe, CraigandChris.com, and we'll see you guys next week.
Looking forward to it.
Comment.
Enjoy.
So we can talk.